welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel if you are already subscribed. My name is Taylor. I am a witch here on YouTube. I talk about tarot, astrology, and all things esoteric. And today we are going to be talking about your rising sign and the Sagittarius full moon, what it means for your rising sign, what to expect, all things good like that. So before I jump into your specific rising sign, which will be timestamped in the description box down below, so go ahead and click on that. But really quickly before you do, let me explain the influence of this full moon. So this full moon in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, okay? So we already have that Jupiterian influence. So we can expect whatever it touches in your chart to be big. It's being expanded upon in some way, shape, or form. Sagittarius is also the true seeker. It's about identity. So a lot of the rising signs in some way or another are being asked to examine different parts of their identity in relation to whatever part it is highlighting on your chart. Couple other things. Jupiter is conjunct to Venus during this full moon. So there is an added layer of a Jupiterian influence as well as a Venusian influence. So this is a very good time for anything having to do with creative pursuits, anything having to do with expansion around creativity, anything around launching something creatively, releasing something out into the ether creatively. This is a good time to do those things. So that is all I have for the collective. Go ahead and click on the timestamp down below and I will see you in your reading. Okay, so with the Sagittarius full moon happening in your 5th house of dating, creative pursuits, pleasure, inner child, also if you have children, it could be having to do with your children. So what you can expect with this full moon is to say goodbye to a situation surrounding any of those areas, because in relation to this Sagittarius full moon, you're going to be longing for something more. You're going to be longing for something bigger, because Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, and there is that Jupiter influence with Jupiter conjunct Venus during this full moon especially. So the Jupiterian energy is extra emphasized here. So what does that mean for you in your 5th house? It means you're saying goodbye and you're closing out all old chapters surrounding dating, creativity, your children, pleasure, things that don't give you joy anymore. You want something bigger. You want something more for yourself. So if you've been casually dating somebody and this full moon comes around and suddenly you're realizing they're not all that. You're really not that interested in them because you're longing for something more and something greater, because Sagittarius is the seeker. It's the truth seeker. It longs for more, longs to expand themselves. So look out for that this week. And for your tarot card, we have the Lovers. So I wouldn't be surprised for a lot of you Aries risings if this has to do with a love and dating situation here. You're saying goodbye and cutting ties with an old relationship or a casual fling that you've been having, and you're ready to expand into something greater. So lean into that energy this week. So how is this Sagittarius full moon affecting you? Well, it is happening in your 6th house, your 6th house of health, of routines. And this is interesting here. I was about to jump the gun and just straight away get to your tarot card, but I'll give you some more informed information before we just jump straight into the tarot. So what this can mean for you is you're saying goodbye to an old chapter of health and an old chapter of organization that is no longer working for you. With the Sagittarian influence on the full moon and with extra energy from Jupiter conjunct Venus in the sky, this means we have double Jupiterian energy. What does this mean? It means that it's expanding this area. It's encouraging you to grow more. So maybe you've been working on your health consistently, or maybe not so consistently, since January. Like you are striving to do new health goals, you're implementing new routines in general. Health in every way, not just physically. And this Jupiterian influence is encouraging you to take it even a step further. How can you maximize this energy? How can you put your best foot forward? And how can you kind of like optimize your routines? So this is really centered around like time management for you. It's about, time management comes to mind for sure. It's about how you can best manage yourself and kind of maximize your self-improvement journey. Very interesting. And I'm very excited to see how this is impacting you. You could also, in addition to those things I said, there is an element, since it's a full moon, right, of letting go of an old way of doing things in order to incorporate these new things here. But your tarot cards, my beautiful Tauruses, are the Magician, very nice, and the 3 of Cups here, which I think is also very interesting. So with the Magician, Again, it's about creating. You're leaning into the creative influence of this full moon in your 6th house, and you're creating, you're putting in the legwork to do these new routines for yourself, because you're kind of realizing like nobody else is going to do it for me. Like I'm the one who has to do these things. But at the same time, you're optimizing your schedule to make time for the important friendships in your life, the important celebrations in your life. And this is very clear to me here with the 3 of Cups. So a lot of this could be having to do with you being like, yeah, like the self-improvement journey has been great, but also like I haven't seen my friends in the last like 6 months. Well, this is about you optimizing that time in a way where you can monitor your health, but also still see the people who are important to you. So that is all I have for you, Taurus. Let's see what this full moon in Sagittarius has to offer you. It is happening in your 7th house. Your 7th house is the house of romantic relationships, business partnerships, legal partnerships, things like that. So what does this mean? Well, I'll tell you. So not every Gemini watching this is going to be single or in a relationship, whatever, but because it is a full moon in Sagittarius, it does tell me that there is a closing of chapter here. And what I think it means for my Geminis is you're closing a chapter on your romantic relationship identity. What does this mean? It means you're being asked to examine right now and let go of who it is that you are when you're showing up inauthentically in relationships or business partnerships, whichever one that is. So you're being asked to kind of shed external, I don't want to call it like fake layers, but see which parts of yourself are you and which parts are being influenced by the other person, so you can show up to this relationship more authentically, more raw. Also, if you're single looking for relationships, this is a good time for you to examine, where are you a red flag? And maybe that's not exactly what you want to be doing, but it is an important thing to do during this full moon influence, to let go of those things. This is a good time for you to examine, where are you where are you the problem? Where could you take it a step further with more emotional intelligence, and how you can show up best in relationships? And for your tarot card, I have the 6 of Swords here. So with this full moon, especially because Sagittarius is your sister sign, I see it as definitely being a time for you to, again, like examine those parts of yourself that are not working out. You need to get honest and real with yourself and take some time to really sit down with your thoughts and think about, maybe where are you showing up from a place of insecurity, a place of hurt, and how you can heal that to be your best self in relationships, both for your own benefit and your partner's. So that is all I have for you, Gemini. So how is the Sagittarius full moon impacting you? Well, I will tell you. It is happening in your 8th house of mystery, of taboo, of unconscious beliefs, desires, things like that. So given that it's a full moon in Sagittarius, this influence is encouraging you to go a step further, because Sagittarius is the truth seeker. It wants to expand things because it's influenced with Jupiter. So this full moon is really encouraging you to expand your understanding of your unconscious beliefs and desires. Get a better understanding of yourself. I think likely this might be an uncomfortable full moon for Cancer risings, depending on how comfortable you are going deeper like that and really understanding yourself and getting to some of those deep hidden wounds that maybe you don't want to touch, you don't want to go there as much. But overall, like, I think the most important thing here is just leaning into this energy and taking it as a time to be like your own therapist and let what needs to come to the surface come, because it doesn't seem like with this full moon you will have much of a choice. So for your tarot cards, we have the 8 of Wands. This shit's coming in fast. And we have the 2 of Swords. So this is also a period too for Cancer risings where you're no longer able, the universe is no longer allowing you to sit in complicit ignorance, meaning like you've kept yourself in this kind of like limbo period where you don't want to see the truth of a situation, i.e. the 2 of Swords literally being blinded. You don't want to see the truth of a situation. You don't want to see the truth of what things about yourself that need to be healed need to be transmuted. Whatever that may be for you, this full moon is giving you the option to run no further. Like, it's taking you headfirst in, because it's so funny, like the contrast on these cards. This woman is blinded, and then on here, like the eyes are literally gouging out. Like straight up, this full moon is like pushing your eyes from your sockets, like forcing you to look at the truth of a situation. And ultimately, like, it's gonna be for your highest good. So just rock it out. Hold on to the, what is it? Hold on to your straps. Hold on. Just grip the armrest of your chair and you will get through it. But that is all I have for you, Cancer. So, how is this full moon in Sagittarius impacting you? Well, it is happening in your ninth house of expansion. So, this is a really interesting energy here. Lots of Jupiterian energy for you because Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. We have the Jupiter conjunct Venus, and then the ninth house also being ruled by Jupiter. So, this means that you're going to be re-examining your approach to life and also what you want out of from an educational perspective. So if some of you are studying something, you're in a certain program or school, anything like that, it could even be like a job training program, you're asking yourself, is this something that I really want to be doing? Because with this Jupiterian influence, you're not going to be able to run from the fact that this is about what you and your soul need and want for your expansion. Is the program that you're in, is the subject that you're studying giving you emotional fulfillment? Now, if you're not in a program at all, this could be a time where you are looking at programs to be involved in because that Jupiter influence is pushing you forward. It's pushing you to discover more things. If none of those things apply to you, and you're not looking at programs, you're not in a program, this is a time where you are re-examining your philosophy and your approach to life. This could be a time where you're getting heavily into different like research topics. This could be a time where you're strengthening your moral outlook on life, just anything related to that. Jupiter is asking you to spend time and think about things of importance like that. And for your tarot card, I have the Four of Swords. So I think that this could be something that you've been thinking about for a long time here. It's something that's been giving you anxiety. It's something that has been keeping you up at night because you feel that you are not doing enough. Or if you are doing enough, you feel that you are not doing the right things for you. Because at the end of the day, you can't lie to yourself. And this full moon is really illuminating that part of you to show you that this is the right educational path that you're on or it's not. And it's a good time to get a deeper understanding of what that looks like for you. And that is all I have for you, Leo. Rising. So, how is the Sagittarius full moon impacting you? Well, it is happening in your 10th house of authority and career. So, what exactly does this mean? I will tell you. This means because it is a full moon and a closing of the chapters, with this influence from Sagittarius, which is ruled by Jupiter, it's causing some sort of an expansion and illuminating this part of your chart. So, when this comes to matters related to work and authority, things like that, there could be an extra spotlight on you at work this week. This could be because you've been putting in a lot of extra work or your hard work is finally being recognized. But it seems at the same time, although you feel appreciated for the work that you've been doing, you don't like the work that you're doing necessarily. You don't feel like this position is 1000% right for you. Even if you're in a career field that you like and it's something that feels comfortable to you, it also feels like you're taking a lot of hits for your job because the tarot card I pulled for you is the Nine of Wands. And do you see how he's like beat up? So as much as you're like, yes, I appreciate this recognition that I'm getting, you're also like having to close a chapter related to how you identify with your work identity. So like how much of your work personality are you taking home with you? How much of yourself lies in your career? Meaning like if you're a teacher, how much of you is I strongly identifies with the label I am a teacher, because this doesn't necessarily mean by any means that you're leaving your job, but it does mean that you are having a realization on the fact that you've been putting too much effort into this job just to receive little sprinkles of affirmation and little sprinkles of praise from your boss or higher ups at your company. So you just feel maybe a little bit beat up by your job at this point. So this would be a good time for you to reflect and sort of, like I said, hone in on that identity, see how much of you is tied up in your work identity and how you can leave some of that stuff at home and maybe give a little less of yourself when you're at work. So that is all I have for you, Virgo. Libras, how is this full moon in Sagittarius impacting you? Well, it is happening in your 11th house of networking, relationships, interpersonal communications, circles, stuff like that. So because it is happening in your 11th house, it's likely related to friendships or communities that you are a part of. And with this side, I think that a lot of you are realizing people in your life that need to get cut out and people in your life that can stay. Because it seems a lot of you have been giving what feels like a little bit too much for too long. And this this full moon is spotlighting that energy of your chart, meaning that you cannot look away from it. You cannot kind of shake that feeling that you're giving more than you're receiving back from other people. And it's been this way for quite some time. And you could be having feelings of identity confusion, and that seems to be a theme with this full moon, just kind of in general in different parts. But for you, it's in relation to how you show up in groups, how you show up in your friendships, and how much of your friendships and your close circle of people make up your personality and who it is that you are. So you're having some struggles with that this week, but it's ultimately going to be for your highest good. So be thankful at the end of the day that this part of your chart is being illuminated, because it's getting rid of the people that don't need to be there anymore. As far as your tarot cards go, we have the Six of Swords, and we have the Ace of Coins. So it's very likely at this time that you are going to be saying goodbye to a group of people, likely, like I said, a group of friends, because it's just a matter of unreciprocated effort that is no longer something that you can ignore anymore. I wouldn't be surprised if you were actually giving these people like some sort of like financial compensation, or just offering them a lot more than they were offering you in return. And that is really being shown clearly to you. So that is all I have for you, Libra. So how is this full moon in Sagittarius impacting you? Well, it is happening in your 12th house. And this is a really interesting full moon for you here, because I see it as being deeply healing for you. Since we have this a full moon illuminating the 12th house. The 12th house deals with, it could be spiritual matters, it could be hidden desires, it could be just unhealed wounds, things like that. But with this full moon here, it means that we're letting go of a lot of those things. You've done the healing work. You've gone through a long period since the new moon in Sagittarius back in November. You've gone through a long period where you've been healing these wounds, and now it's time to say goodbye to them for real under the spotlight on May 23rd under this full moon. And I love this for you. It's great. This is like, I think honestly, Scorpio risings might have it, might have it the best out of everyone, other than maybe like Sag. But I really like this energy for you. It's a time where and it's a little bit bittersweet at the same time, because I think a lot of your identity, since you are a Scorpio, a lot of your identity could be somewhat tied up in these parts of who you used to be it that they were unhealed even, they still felt like you. So saying goodbye to them could still feel a little bit painful, but mostly it feels good. And the tarot card that is being represented for you with this full moon is the Six of Cups. So you are being blessed up, down, left, and right. And it kind of feels like the universe is like throwing these blessings like up in your face a little bit. It could be a little bit overwhelming because, like I said, you've just said goodbye to these unhealed stuff, but the universe is like, okay, it's gone now. So like ushering in all the new good stuff of this new chapter of your life. So that is all I have for you, Scorpio. How is this Sagittarius full moon impacting you? Well, of course it is happening in your first house of self. And I'm very excited to say that I see a lot of Sagittariuses right now having some choices to make. So there's a choice between stepping into this new life of yours, or there's this choice between kind of leaning in still to the old. But there are two choices being presented to you of equal, we'll say equal importance, and the right decision is the one that feels good to you. So make this decision knowing that you will succeed in every way. This is not a time to play small. With the Jupiterian influence of this full moon, this is not a time to play small at all. So if this is a choice that you want to make that is in line with some of those old beliefs, make sure you're not stepping backwards in time, and instead make sure that it's a conscious choice that you want to make towards old beliefs and values that line up with you. If it's a new choice that you want to make into something brand new, do it in knowing that you have the confidence and the ability to succeed no matter what. As far as your tarot card goes, we have this Page of Wands, and we have this Lover's card here, which is where I know that the choices are coming from. There are two choices that are going to be presented to you. They probably already have been presented to you. And this is a time where you're going to be planting your roots into something new, because you see the roots right there. This is a time where this is going to be, this is going to reflect the next like 6 months of your life. This is a very important time for you to kind of like lay your roots down in where it is that exactly you want to go. So make this choice carefully. There is no wrong answer. Just make sure it is the right one for you. And that is all I have for you, Sag. Capricorn, how are you? We are going to see how the Sagittarius full moon is impacting you. So this is happening in your second house of resources, finances, and skills. So what this means for you here, since we have the full moon, the culmination period of this, I see a lot of you realizing that you have been splurging on whatever, right? It could be a hobby. For most of you, I see a hobby, but it could be a subscription service. It could be whatever. But it's money where you feel like, and since you're a Capricorn and money and finances are something that is important to you, you feel almost dumb. You feel a little naive almost for spending X amount of money on, we'll say like a collection of whatever. Because I pulled your tarot cards, and what I have first is the Nine of Cups. So you see how it's just like it's like a dragon, not like literally in this picture, but it's like a fly sitting on top of all of the nice little things it's collected. So you're looking at all of the nice things you collected, but at the same time, before this full moon, you didn't really want to see the truth of the situation. You didn't really want to be like, yeah, I have a problem. Or maybe just straight up, like you were not even thinking of it. Like you're like giving yourself a little treat all the time, and you're not realizing that you're giving yourself a little treat every single day. And it's accumulating to be this big giant pile of stuff. So this full moon is kind of illuminating your finances in that way and helping you kind of let go of those things, let go of like frivolous spending on specific things like that, and just kind of like tighten up your finances. So that is all I have for you, Capricorn. Aquarius, how is this full moon in Sagittarius impacting you? Well, it is happening in your third house of communication. And what immediately comes to mind when I look at this for you at this time period, if you have been working on something, a YouTube channel, a podcast, a book, anything that involves writing, learning, or giving information, this is time to release that thing. This is time to, it's a great time to try and like reach out to publishers. It's a great time for you to publish these things because you're ready to kind of like release it into the ethos. If this has been something you've been sitting on for quite some time. If not, I wouldn't do it quite so rapidly. But if this has been something you've been working on, we'll say even since like around like last November with the new moon in Sagittarius, this is a great time for you to kind of let go of that project and let it blossom into something so you can work on your next thing. And I also sense that there might be some sort of disappointment with whatever this project is, whether how big or how small, it doesn't matter, because maybe it didn't turn out exactly the way you wanted it to because you're more of a novice in this area or you're still learning how to get things exactly right. That's okay. This is still a time for you to either let go of that, whether it means let go, never to be seen by the light of day, only you see it, or let go by publishing it. This is a time for you to let go of this project and move into the next one involving things that are written or spoken, giving information, learning, things like that. And your tarot card is the Star. Yes, so it's a perfect time for you to be able to share. There's an element of creativity to this. It's like it's about communication, but it's about like creativity sprinkled in it too. I would not be surprised at all if this is related to a creative project in some way, shape, or form. So this is a good time for you to also communicate that with the other people around you. It's a good time for you to share your work with the outside world, maybe for the first time. So that is all I have for you, Aquarius. So what is this Sagittarius full moon mean for you? Well, it is happening in your fourth house of home and family. And for you, I would not be surprised if this is in matters where whoever you live with, like at your house, whether it's family or a partner or by yourself, whatever it is, you're getting clear on what you want your home to look like. You want it to reflect who you are now. So especially if you've lived in your place of living or if you've had your decor for a really long time, you're really refining that at this time. You're getting more serious. You're like, oh, okay, well, I want it to look like this, this, and this. And you're trying to figure out how to do this. And with the added bonus, if you live with other people, you're trying to coordinate your decor and how your home looks, and more importantly, how your home feels to both of you. Do you guys share the same vision? Do you want it to feel more eclectic, or do you want it to feel more relaxed? Whatever it is, this is an important time for you and the people that you live with to get on the same page of how you want your home to look, how you want your home to feel. Also, as a random added message, how often you want people in your home. Do you both agree that you don't want to have parties every weekend, or do you want to have a party every weekend? This is an important time to get on the same page with the people you live with about just all things related to your home, how to make that a space that all of you feel comfortable in, and what it looks like to do so. So the tarot cards I have for you are the Eight of Swords. You're like weaving your little web. We have Judgments, and we have the Two of Cups. So ultimately, I do see you. I mean, everybody's in a different situation, right? But I do see you coming to some sort of an agreement with the people or person that you live with, especially if you live alone. Not much to do there, but you will maybe slash probably have to make some sort of agreement where you come to, okay, we can have people over every other week, or we can do somewhat like a collective decor, but also I want it to feel more relaxed. So don't be surprised and be ready to compromise in that way. But that is all I have for you, Pisces.